Hi guys, I'm LaShonda, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back, dolls. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to get this nice sleek blunt bob. We're going to be sewing, styling, cutting, and everything, the whole 9 yards. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I made this bob, then you guys already know what to do. Stick around and just continue to watch. So the first thing we're going to be using is this little styrofoam head. I like to use it because it's small and so is my head. And we're going to be using this little wig cap that I got off of Amazon. We're going to need some scissors, of course. We're also going to need some nylon thread and some C hooks, as you see here. And we're going to be needing some T-push pins to kind of hold down our cap and our wig. I'm also going to be using these little combs here just to kind of sew into the sides. You're going to need a closure, and I am using 3 bundles of 10-inch straight Brazilian hair, and also the frontal was also 10 inches. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and place on our wig cap, and I'm going to flip it on the inside out so you guys see right here. I'll be able to hook my little kind of like the little bra scraps, I call them, into the wig to make your wig tight or loose or however you want to do it, as you see me do here. And this wig is a large, and this cap is a large, and so I'm going to pin down the sides just a little bit before I start sewing, just to kind of make sure that the wig fits my head, because like I said, I do have a small peanut head. And now I'm going to take those T-push pins and I'm just going to kind of pin down my closure. I'm going to put about 4 or 5 pins in here just to kind of hold it in place so that when I get ready to sew, it doesn't budge on me. And once I'm done, they should all look like this. I just kind of put a couple in the front and about 3 in the back, as you see here. And then I'm just going to take this hair and put it in a little ponytail just to kind of keep it out of the way so I don't sew the hair down when I begin to sew. And after threading my C-hook, I'm just going to tie a little straight knot in it at the end. And there's no specific way on how to sew down your closure. I just kind of, go from underneath and, sew all the way around. I mean, no specific designs or anything like that, nothing special. And I'm just going to sew all the way around that frontal until my frontal is completely sewn down. And so whenever I get to the end and I cut my thread, I always just kind of tie about 3 or 4 little knots on the end, just so that my knots don't come undone and they don't unravel. And once I'm done, I'm just going to take out all the little pins, and when you finish, it should kind of look like this. Nothing fancy, just sewn all the way completely down. And right here, you'll just see me threading through the wets of my track with my little C-hook, just because I like for it to stay like kind of firm, and when I sew through those wets and then sew it down, it stays put, and like it really does not come unravel if you do it this way, you guys. So I'm just going to pin down my little tracks here, and then I'm just going to start sewing underneath the wets. And what I did, since I started first sewing through the wets, it's already nice and secure, and then I'll just take the needle and go underneath the weft into the cap, and I'll wrap the thread around the needle one time, and then I'll pull through, and I'll just keep doing that all the way across my wig. And once I get to the end, I'm just going to cut off that track. I am using 2 tracks, by the way, ladies. And then I'm just going to sew through the width of that end. Every time I get to the end, I'll start sewing through the width. And then I'm going to tie about 3 or 4 little knots in it just to kind of make sure it's nice and secure. Now, usually I'll do like the fold over method instead of cutting my tracks. But I don't want to do that here because I want to make sure that this wig is completely flat. And make sure you guys don't accidentally sew down these little adjustable scraps. So as you'll see here, I'm just going to kind of take it and pin it underneath so I don't accidentally sew it down, because I have done that before and then it was a disaster. So make sure you guys get those out of the way. And yeah, the rest of the wig is kind of self-explanatory, so I did kind of speed up the process. And as you see, I just went all the way around the dome of this head, sewing 2 tracks at a time, using the little wrap around the hook method as you guys see me doing here. And I just did that all the way till I got completely to the top of the head. And once I get to the top of the head, you guys see me start going in another direction in just a second here. And once I'm done sewing everything down, it should look like this, the little kind of pattern. You guys really can't see that well with my camera, sorry guys. But anyways, like I said, once I get to the top of the crown, I'm just going to sew the hair across now instead of going in the little U shape. And I'm just going to sew, I want to say it was about 4 or 5 tracks that I sewn across all the way till I got to the front of the closure. And I'm just going to sew that in this direction so that my wig lays completely flat in the top of my crown. And to close everything off, I'm just going to take 1 track and I'm just going to sew that into my closure so that it is connected. And I'm going to do that all the way across so there is no spaces left in the top of the crown of the wig. And so now that I'm done sewing, I'm just going to take out all my little T-pins and I'm going to comb the hair down, and I'm going to put a part directly down the center because this is how I will be wearing this wig. And then once I'm done with that, I'll pin everything down and I'm going to take some tweezers and I'm just going to kind of tweeze out that part so that I open it up a little bit and make it look a little bit more natural. And I'll put a little bit of foundation in the middle of this part. You'll see me do in a moment here, just so that it makes this part look a little bit more natural since I didn't bleach the knots. I don't want to bleach the knots because sometimes it makes the hair shed out a little bit easier, and if you want your wig to last a little bit longer, then just use foundation instead of bleaching your knots. Make sure you pull out all that excess hair as you see me doing here. And I'm going to take my little wand and I'm just going to kind of make everything look flat and make that make that closure lay flat. And that's pretty much it for this part of the wig. And now I'm going to take it off of the mannequin, and it's these little flaps on the side. I did not sew down. I always cut these little flaps off because I don't need them. I like this cap, you know, because it's a little bit more breathable than that stocking cap, but this one has these little flaps on the end, and I just take them and cut them off. I'm also going to cut out this part of the wig right here that we don't need anymore. I'm just going to take my scissors and be careful to go around not cutting any thread and cut out that middle section of the wig so that all you see is the actual closure. And here you'll see me, like I said, taking my foundation and putting that right in the part so that this part will look a little bit more natural. See, ladies? So here you'll see me taking my scissors, being very careful to cut off this little lace that's left on the front of the closure. Make sure you get your little baby hairs out of the way. I might do something with them, not sure yet, so I didn't want to cut off my little baby hairs, so be sure you be careful not to do that. But cut this as close to the hairline as you possibly can so that it is not noticeable. And so once I'm done cutting that off, that is pretty much all I'm going to do to the wig. I am going to put a little bit of mousse on it just to make sure everything lays nice and flat. I also went ahead and sewed in those little combs inside of the wig, as you see here, just so that I'll be able to stick this under my braids. This wig fits very snug. I didn't need any elastic band or anything. So we are going in here to Salon 7 and letting my girl Maria cut this bob and make it cute. Okay? Hey, honey bunnies. So as you guys can see, I wasn't about to take any chances with cutting this wig, so I decided I would go to one of my professional hairstylist friends and let her just do the honors for me, because I didn't want to risk cutting this thing too short and making it look a hot mess and wasting all of this hair. So Maria is just going to go ahead and cut this into a bob for me, and just to kind of make it, you know, to my shoulders. I didn't want it too long and I didn't want it too short. This wig was kind of inspired by Rashida from Love and Hip Hop. I seen on like Love and Hip Hop the intro, and I was like, ooh, that wig is so cute. I think I want to make me one. So I wanted it kind of that lit. So as you guys will see, I'll just let you continue to watch Maria do her thing with these scissors. And if you guys are interested in finding out anything about Maria and her info, I'll make sure I list everything below. She's over at Salon 7, so if you're here locally, go ahead and check out my girl. She is a beast with the scissors. Okay, so now that Maria has whacked this thing up enough for me, I'm going to put on a little cream colored stocking cap just so it looks more natural in my part. And then I'm going to go ahead and put on my wig, and I'm just going to take my little combs and stick them underneath my braids and underneath my wig cap so that it fits nice and snug and this wig is not going anywhere. And then I'm just going to kind of brush through it, looking nice and flat like I like it. Okay, now these baby hairs, like, I wasn't for sure if I wanted to do baby hairs or not, but I just tried it. I took my little baby hair comb and some Got2b glue gel and just kind of gelled them down a little bit and kind of played with them. I don't think I was quite satisfied with the whole baby hair look thing, but I gave it a shot. I don't know. I'll kind of play with them a little bit more, you know, as I wear this wig, but I think I wind up combing them all out at the end and just wearing it naturally with no baby hairs. So just watch me play with these baby hairs a minute, and then after that I'll go ahead and start flat and iron this wig. Yeah, LaShonda, I don't know about the baby hairs either. But anywho, I'm just going to take my flat irons and I'm just going to kind of go through this whole wig, just kind of doing a little hook motion, like a curve motion with the flat irons, so that it has a slight bump to it. Not too tight, because I don't want it to like curl up too tight, and I don't want it to look too straight like a razor cut bob. I wanted to have that little curve just underneath my chin bone here. So as you'll see, I'll just go through this whole entire wig with this little flat iron just to kind of give it that little bump. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for this video, you guys. This was a very easy to do bob. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that little subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch all of you guys in my next video. Bye, dolls.